Hello, I'm Mark Learmonth, Caledonia Mining's Chief Financial Officer, and I'm here today with Dr. Trevor Pearton, who's VP Exploration. So Trevor runs Caledonia's geology and exploration function. And what Trevor's going to do today is Trevor's going to run us through a little presentation which sets out some background about the geology at Blanket Mine, and then talks about our exploration program there. So Trevor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good morning. I'd like to take you through Blanket's resource upgrade and exploration program. And to set the scene, I'd like to first take you to a map of Zimbabwe. And on this map, I've indicated in green the gold belts of Zimbabwe, where all the gold deposits occur, and Blanket situated down in the southern part of Zimbabwe in the Gwanda Greenstone Belt, which is the southernmost greenstone belt in Zimbabwe. And indicated in detail on this map is the shears which control a lot of this gold mineralization, and the yellow dots indicate the occurrence of small deposits of gold. All of them, 273, have been recorded to date, but of these only 12 have produced more than 10,000 ounces of gold, and the major ones being the Blanket mine itself and the neighboring Zimbabwe mine. Looking at Blanket's ground holdings in Zimbabwe, Blanket's gold properties are focused essentially in the Gwanda Greenstone Belt, and the Blanket mine itself is indicated in this large area of claims over there, and the smaller properties known as satellite properties are scattered over the Blanket, over the Gwanda Greenstone Belt, which generally are considered to have less potential. So there are 16 of these satellites, and then the main Blanket property. Now, looking at the size of these various properties, the Blanket mine itself includes Blanket Section, AR South, AR Main, and Eroica. And then indicated in orange is the past production history. So between those four sections of Blanket mine, vastly more gold has been produced than has been produced from all of these satellite properties which we are working on. And in addition to that, our current resources are indicated in red in terms of these red bars at the top end of the graph. And you can see that the potential that we have to grow production from the current Blanket operations far exceeds the potential at this stage of growing production from our satellites. So while the satellites are considered to offer good support potential, the focus of Blanket's development is on its main deposits. Comparing the two biggest deposits within the Gwanda Greenstone Belt, that's the Blanket deposit and the Zimbabwe deposit, Blanket has produced nearly 1.2 million ounces, whereas Zimbabwe has produced close on 1.1 million ounces. And of what remains in resource, Blanket still has more than 1 million ounces of gold in resource, whereas the Zimbabwe deposit is now in its mature stages and it is substantially less gold. So Blanket clearly is the biggest producer of gold in the Gwanda Greenstone Belt. Now, looking at Blanket's deposits in more detail, I'm going to highlight the individual sections of the mine. These deposits here are known as Blanket Section. This is AR South, AR Main, and Eroica. These are the four main producing sections of Blanket, and the other ones, these other deposits, are supplementary but have much less contribution. Now I'm going to look at the historical production from these four main areas and compare that across the board. So we can see here from our past production, this is Blanket itself. The Blanket section itself has produced 500,000 ounces and significantly less from all the other sections. But as we stand at the moment, Blanket's net present value is expressed in terms of its reserve and indicated resource life, indicated here by these red bars. Now, if we compare that to Blanket's total resource base, indicated here with the additional blue sections, which are the inferred resource base, the additional resources, if included as per the preliminary economic assessment plan, doubles the net present value of the Blanket operation. So it's really important that these blue areas, the resources which are not well understood at this point, are upgraded by detailed drilling so that one can show the full potential of the Blanket operation. And to that extent, a program has now been launched to do detailed drilling on these sections here, and to look at what additional potential could be added to the other main sections, AR Main and AR South. Here I've superimposed the mines section versus the actual production that's come from that and its resources. The blue here coinciding with the blue area over there, and likewise with Eroica. What this program will continue to do is to drill out the depth extent of AR South, which should add considerably to this resource here. That is a very large deposit. Add to the extension of AR Main, and add to the second limb of Eroica, and contribute drill out what is available down to about 1,100 meters below surface. And if this all is put together, one sees the substantial resource potential in terms of what's already defined and what is likely to be defined based on our understanding of these deposits. And this is now can be seen in the context of what has already been mined and what remains. So all of this orange has been produced through 100 years of production. Obviously, with the increasing production rate which Blanket is embarking on, one doesn't expect this to continue for another 100 years, but there's a substantial resource potential remaining in those four main ore bodies. Returning to the vertical projection of the Blanket ore deposits, shown here again are Blanket section, AR South, AR Main, and Eroica, and the smaller deposits all appear to be a single plane illustrated side by side. What I'd like to do now is to take you to a 3D rendition of these deposits where one can see their relative spatial position in the third dimension as well as their depth, and give you some idea as to what is required in the drilling out of these resources at depth. Right, this is the 3D picture of Blanket's ore bodies, where that is the surface. This is 9 level, 14 level, 18 level, and 22 level, which is currently the lowest level of the mine. At present, 6 shaft is being sunk to access the ore below the Blanket section. And the sections that you see here are Blanket section over here, AR South, AR Main over here, and Eroica in this area over here. Now, if I rotate the picture, one can see what these bodies look like from an oblique angle. This again being the Blanket section, those ore bodies there, AR South, AR Main, and Eroica. Now, in relation to those, I'd like to pull in the various extensions that have now been defined, and I'm going to keep it at an angle like that so one can get a better idea of the 3D perspective. This green and blue extension here are extensions below the known Blanket ore bodies. These have been defined by diamond drilling, and currently this blue area, this brown area, and this green area are being drilled more intensely to upgrade the quality and the confidence in that resource. The AR South, this is where drilling is starting at the moment to define the continuation of this ore body going down. Initial indications or initial results show that it is strongly developed below 750 or 22 level, as it is otherwise known. The AR main section is known to about this depth below this 750, the lowest level of the mine, and this again will be the subject of additional drilling to determine the depth extensions to this area. And then this is the Eroica area, and Eroica has two extensions, the one being lateral and the other being below 750. Now the area that's above 750 is accessible from current workings already in place, so the drilling will not be required to upgrade this area. That will be done by normal development and stoping operations, but below 750 additional drilling will be required to upgrade this area and to determine the extent of continuation of the lateral area. Now this will be done by the following type of drill pattern. What I'm showing here now is the holes that have been drilled to date. So I rotate that, and you can see from an angle that the sort of drilling that's being done, each white trace being a borehole that's been drilled down. And you can see in the case of some of this drilling in the blanket section, the holes deflect quite considerably, and the flexing of these holes can result in missing a target, and it can also result in failure of the borehole. So it's very important that we drill from as close as possible in order to get accurate intersections and to have confidence in the actual positioning of that intersection. So much of the drilling in blanket has been done from 630 level. You can see where all these holes originate. In order to improve the drilling going forward, the drilling in these deeper sections is now going to be done from a second drilling platform situated about this depth below 750 level, while on the other side here, the drilling out of this depth extension of Eroica over here will be done from a drilling platform put in place over here. So development will be, a tunnel will be mined out into the hanging wall, and then from this position, as was the case in the AR South and AR Main area, drilling will be drilled, the holes will be drilled back into the ore body. And these new developments are indicated in green here, so that this tunnel will be put in place. This development is currently underway, and this crosscut from 6 shaft will be put in place to enable us to get down and drill into these deeper sections here. So that the putting in place of these cubbies will determine our progress, and in terms of our meters achieved, we first have to get those into place before we can get enough meters in that area. But in the meantime, we are still drilling out into this green area, and we're drilling in the AR South area, as well as from these cubbies over here in AR Main. Now, all of that all of these resources that we now have below 750 meters will be accessed by the new central shaft to be sunk between AR South and AR Main. And from that shaft, we will be able to develop out laterally and access the first 120 meter block, which is the phase 1 block, and then the second 120 meter block, which takes the mine down to a depth of about 1,000 meters. And so this central shaft with the attendant 26 level and 30 level development, which will be put in place over the next 3 years, will access the additional resources that we are now evaluating below 750 level. And by the year 2018, we expect to have all of this fully upgraded in the mine plan and development already in place, and we will be exploiting off this 26 level, both in the AR area and in the blanket section over here. Now I'd like to take you to a detailed view inside one of the ore body models, where we have a cutaway section of the AR South ore body. It's a plan section showing the development in blue. There's the blue outline through here. And relative to that, the shape of the ore body, which is very irregular. And then within that, the sampling that we have done, sampling represented by these lines of samples and these drill holes indicated in white. The areas marked in red are the higher grade areas, and in green, the lower grades. And white areas would be unpaid areas. That just shows, give you some idea of the density of information that we're using for evaluation, where the spacing between these two lines is 2.5 meters. So this is the sort of evaluation density that we have in terms of the final, at the stage of going to the final mining and exploitation of the ore deposits. Now coming to the drilling that is required for the conversion of or the upgrading of the inferred to the indicated resources and the incorporation of the additional material into the blanket life of mine plan. I'm showing here the drilling program that we have set out, with the first 6 months of 2015 having passed, and in that period we've managed to up the drilling rate to about 1,400 to 1,600 meters per month, and that rate will be maintained through over the next couple of years, building up to the peak drilling meters in 2016, and then tailing off down to 2018. And this increased drilling over the next 2 to 3 years is really a catch-up to try and bring all of that blue area that was indicated on the previous plans, all of the inferred resources, up to the indicated level of confidence and incorporation into the life of mine plan to give a fair indication of the value of the property. So at the moment, we have reached what we could consider to be our target level. We have just acquired 2 new machines in this period here, and so currently are commissioning them. And once commissioned, we will be able to extend our drilling rate further, and we will then start to discontinue the use of some of the older machines, but we'll be able to drill very reliably, consistently through this period. What we intend to do now is, in terms of achieving the aim, which is to upgrade the inferred resources so as to allow for their inclusion in the life of mine plan, maintaining the planned drilling rate enables us to maximize the accuracy of our drilling, and in so doing we preserve the life of the machines by drilling within their capability. We will not be drilling the very long holes, and this will be possible through putting in new drilling platforms closer to the ore body, where the position and the orientation of the hole is appropriate for the target that was being drilled. The drilling platforms that I mentioned in the earlier part of the presentation will be in the AR South area, the blanket section on 870 meter level, and in the heroic area. And those drilling platforms then allow us to appropriately position our drill holes, maximize the number of intersections for the number of meters that we are drilling. The expected outcome of this work is going to be a fairly regular resource upgrade. We expect in 6 monthly intervals, The quantum upgrades, however, will vary over time depending on the size of the remaining blocks to be drilled. And as is normal in this sort of thing, not all inferred resources will be upgraded. Some blocks where we expect to be subgrade, but at the same time we expect to define additional resource blocks in the drilling program. And just as a footnote here, I'd like to emphasize the fact that over the past 10 years, there's been an approximate 100% conversion of resources to reserves. So the history of upgrading resources has been a very consistent one for the mine, with the results generally being within expectation. The results, as we now see it from the drilling that was done up until May 2015, is the upgrading of the central portion of the blanket ore bodies over here, bearing in mind that these are multiple ore bodies, one behind the other. I'm quickly going to go through the quantums involved in this resource upgrade. Blanket mine total, this is the total inferred resource for Blanket mine, where this portion is above 750 meter level and is not part of the drilling program. The 3 blocks on the right are part of the drilling program. 750 meters to 870, that's the first level, first step down. 870 to 1,000 meters approximately was the second step, and then the deeper block, the deeper area which we're not targeting at this point. So the drilling is focusing on these 2 areas over here, where in the upgrades released in May this year, we were able to show significant conversions of the inferred into indicated resource. Blanket section itself, this is where the bulk of the inferreds lie. Half of the area immediately below 750, and a substantially smaller portion of the area below 870. And this is the area where we're going to be targeting our drilling now to bring this into the mine plan as soon as possible. One can see here for the rest of the mine, and this relates mainly to the Aerobic Halima section. At this stage, none of that has been brought through into or upgraded to the indicated category, and that is where we will be able to drill as soon as the new drilling platforms are in place. In terms of the Blanket section, there are 4 ore bodies in Blanket that we're in the Blanket section that we are drilling through, and each of these arranged here in terms of the shallower down to the deeper section. You can see here from these bar diagrams that the greatest proportion of upgrade has been in the shallower sections from Blanket Quartz Reef and number 2 ore body. Number 1 ore body and number 4 ore body are not that well developed at that shallow level, and the target at the moment is now to improve the upgrades at number 2 ore body, deeper, and number 4 ore body, particularly where we have 400,000 tons in the deeper section. And so this number 4 ore body and number 1 ore body will be accessed from the deeper positioned new drilling platform. So that Blanket upgrade drilling resulted in the conversion of this section of Blanket's ore bodies to the indicated category, and the drilling program will then continue to complete the definition of these blocks in more detail. Coming back to the drilling program, this drilling meter profile is expected to result in a conversion of all the inferreds that we've been looking at over the period of this drilling. The drilling, of course, will continue beyond this time, but this drilling will also include target drilling below AR South and AR Main, and we anticipate the following results over this period of time. Based on the actuals for 2014, we were able to convert 490,000 tons, which was 23% of the inferred that we have currently defined. And over the remaining 4 years, that will be brought to about 100% as we upgrade what remains of the inferred resource blocks. In addition to that, the new drilling, which will be done in the AR section, will bring in an approximately, is expected to bring in an additional 900,000 tons from the blocks below AR South and AR Main. That will add to the resource base. Looking at the program where we are at the moment, we have upgraded this central portion of the blanket resource blocks and will continue to expand this extent of upgrade, and where we have these 3 targets which we will be drilling into. And over the next 3 years, we expect the following upgrade pattern to occur. In 2015, that will be these red blocks will be completed by the end of the year. We will have started the first block under AR South, and 2016 we'll see that front move down in all areas, down to 2018, where we will be expect to be below even our 30 level elevation over there, almost on 30 level elevation for the AR South. We will have drilled out this section over here, and we'll have the the Eroica section in the west evaluated down to about 30 level.
So Trevor, thank you very much for that. It's pleasing to see that in May this year we had a significant increase and upgrade in the resource base. We've increased the rate of drilling, and over the course of the next sort of 3 years or so, we do expect to see further increases in the confidence level and the overall tonnage that we have. So that's I hope that gives you a picture as to what the geology is and how we intend over the course of the next few years to improve the resource definition. Thank you very much.